Hello everyone, this is Jeremy and welcome to episode 2 of Installation Route. Let's start today off by making another diamond. And now we can make it in our upgraded induction smelter, which is noticeably faster. Right now I am running all three of my machines at once. I did add a couple more generators for a total of 4 steam dynamos. All 4 together then produce 200 RF a tick. I did a little bit more testing too with the bug that we saw last time with the energy bar like flickering to full. I think that's actually just a visual bug. The machine appears to be consuming fuel at the expected rate, so if any machine is only producing partial output, that's when it tends to occur. But it's purely visual. It's still consuming fuel at the expected rate, not like the vastly reduced rate as if it were only generating for 1 tick every, 10. Once this energy fills up, I'm pretty sure we will observe one of the dynamos start to have that behavior again. So, not like that. Nope. Nope. Alright, well, they all seem to be more or less happy right now then. Alright, whatever, it's fine. Don't stress the details. Anyways, I wanted to make that diamond because I wanted another mana diamond. Because I wanted another mana tablet for my Rod of the Shifting Crust. So, we got the rod as a quest reward, so... Oh no, we can't quite make it yet, so it is valuable. If I take this mana tablet and set our thing to fill the tablet mode, we don't need a lot of mana in the tablet. You're not going to fill the tablet? Hello? Fill the... Wait, it has to point towards the tablet to be in fill the tablet mode. Anyways, just put a little bit of mana in the tablet. We can now use a Rod of the Shifting Crust to more easily swap out the blocks for our, for this, whatchamacallit there, the Pure Daisy. So if I grab some stone and some wood, shift right click to bind that, shift right click to bind this, bam. And then perhaps we can make a magnet to make the picking up of these bits even easier. The Botania magnet seems quite craftable. So a mana lens and then ingot of gold and some more like this. Do we have baubles? We do. Nice. Word in the bauble slot. So now we can, as soon as this is done, which should just take another moment, there we go. It should allow relatively easy batch crafting of the living materials, living wood and living stone. While we're on the topic of Botania, let's make one of the other rods. So specifically right now I want to make the Rod of the Lands. The Rod of the Lands can use mana to make dirt, and for now it'll represent our easiest way of making dirt. So uses earth runes. I'm going to grab a handful of these. For now, while we're manual crafting, especially things that are relatively slow like this Botania stuff, I just like to batch craft. So give me 4 runes of earth. And here we go, a Rod of the Land. So it's pretty simple. You just literally right click and it makes dirt, and then you harvest the dirt with their favorite shovel-like tool. That actually gives me an idea. I'm going to craft a whole bunch of Pure Daisies. Pretty easy actually if you put the reservoir in your right hand. You just right click twice. 8, yeah, there we go. And then it fills the metal apothecary, and then the second right click puts the previous recipe in. So anyways, my chest here is getting a little full. I'm going to dedicate a little bit of space for this, but if we set it up such that, let's see, let's set up just a small grid of blocks with 2 blocks in between, and put the Pure Daisy on each of these. And let's move you to this side. We actually can do a little bit of pretty efficient batch ore processing, I think. So, plant these. And then, for now, let's start with just a batch of wood, or a batch of stone will do. But surround these with the blocks to transmute. I think this would work better if we could vertically stack our Pure Daisies, but for now our Pure Daisies have to be planted on dirt, So that requires them to be like, we can't directly stack them vertically on top of each other, unfortunately. But anyways, this will transmute the stone into living rock, and then there it goes. And when this entire batch is done, we can use the rod and the shifting crust to exchange all the living rock for the next block to transmute. In this case, we can transmute all of our magnetite ore into purified magnetite ore or whatever. And, you know, this way, with just a couple of clicks, we can, it does an entire stack at a time. And it's very, relatively quick, a stack a minute. That will dramatically reduce the load we put on our pulverizer, because if we pulverize the purified ore, I think we get like, it was 7 pieces per, 7 per ore instead of, I think it was like 2 per ore if we use the regular magnetite. So we reduce the load on our pulverizer by a fair bit. And right now our pulverizer is kind of the bottleneck in most of our processes. End of the day, I can't help but wonder, does this work? No, it doesn't. It doesn't seem like we can do it to cheat our way out of the box, alas. Continue on with the Botania theme for today, I guess. Let's automate the supplying of fuel to these endo flames. Right now, it's every 5-ish minutes I come here and drop a couple pieces of fuel for it when I hear that it's not running anymore. But that's a manual process, and it doesn't take much effort, but no sense not automating it, right? So if I make a pair of shears, I want to go get some all grass. Here we go. And my goal here is to make a hopper hock. A hopper hock is kind of like a vacuum hopper or an ender hopper in that it picks up items that are dropped near it. So here we go. And it places them into an adjacent inventory. So if we just a quick demo of what it does, we plant this here, put the hopper hock here, and then put an inventory here. Any items we throw on the ground after a couple seconds will get picked up and stored in here. We can then filter this by using item frames, placing an item frame on the inventory, and then putting an item into that frame. If I put an item into the item frame without clicking the dropper, we can shift right click it in apparently. Anyways, by putting an item in the item frame, the dropper now is filtered to only pick up that item. So it won't pick up redstone, but it will pick up other blocks of charcoal. Using this, we can create a system that's constantly dropping charcoal on the endo flames, and if they're not consumed by the endo flames within a couple of seconds, the hopper hock will pick it up. In the interest of doing this with a pure Botania solution, I'm going to use the Botania timer, hovering hourglass. This is a variable timer that we set by putting variable amounts of sand in it. So let's get 4 pieces. I think each piece of sand counts for 1 second. So we'll use this to tick the dropper. I guess it takes all 4 pieces at a time. So every time it flips over, it emits a redstone signal, which causes a item to be dropped. And if I'm not wearing my magnet, that item will be dropped onto the flowers and not into my inventory. So that'll sit there, and then if it doesn't get picked up by a flower within a couple of seconds, it'll get picked up by the hopper hock. The flower pickup timer is intentionally set that it waits long enough for the item to fall before, or waits long enough for the endo flames to take the item before picking it up. We can also replace the dropper with a dispenser into a open crate if we want the item to fall straight down, but frankly it doesn't matter. So with this, as long as we give it charcoal or some other burnable, we have fully automated mana production. When the mana pool fills up, the endo flames just stop accepting fuel, which means it won't even waste fuel when and if the mana pool ever becomes full. The next problem, though, is that we're going to run out of charcoal at the rate we're using it. We're burning it in our furnaces, we're burning it to power our machines, to power our dynamos, to make RF, and we're burning it to make mana. That's actually, we're basically using 100% of our wood is being turned into charcoal, is being used in various places. So let's start by trying to at least stop using it in the furnaces. which will require us to replace those with redstone furnaces. A redstone furnace is, the recipe is quite easy with the exception of these bricks. So bricks require clay, and I think the only way we can make clay right now is, unless can we make this thing? No, we cannot, not even a hope. I guess it's a clayconia, right? How do we make the clayconia? Okay, I was going to say we can do this crafting recipe, but on second thought, the clayconia is probably just easier to make. Let's make one of these. In fact, I even think I crafted extra runes of earth, right? There we go. The clayconia is a flower that, you may have guessed based on the name, makes clay. I believe it makes it from sand, if memory serves me right. So let's get some sand, and I need a seeds to actually make the flower. Give me one of these. It is also extremely fast, if memory serves me right. So it needs mana, but as long as we place it remotely close to a mana pool, it'll link. So where's my dirt stick? We can place it right here. I've decided. Place that there, and then any sand that gets placed in its vicinity, oh, it just instantly turns it into clay. There we go. It uses a bit of mana to do so, so it's not completely free, but this is easily the most balanced flower in all of Botania. Oh, we're at it. I'm going to put a Solgania here. That just turns off our magnet in the area around it, so I won't end up stealing that charcoal that gets dropped. So anyways, bricks have been made, so we can make our redstone furnace. Let's make 2 for now. I think 2 upgraded redstone furnaces with the speed augment are probably about as fast as all 8 vanilla furnaces. While we're at it, may as well upgrade our cables to hardened tier. We don't need the increased energy transport that they can do, but having the extra internal buffer might help if we ever very briefly consume more than we're producing. Furnaces are set up and running, and yeah, I'm pretty sure each one is at least 4 times faster than a vanilla furnace. This might already be 8 times faster than a vanilla furnace. I mean, vanilla furnaces are slow, so not terribly surprising. Anyways, back to quests. At this point, we can make capacitors. So flux capacitors, in addition to charging stuff in your inventory, are one of the only ways to store energy in this pack, and they can be discharged with enervation dynamos, and it can kind of serve as a battery, but as you can see here, they can only be charged at 100 RF, like they can only be charged at 10% their discharge rate, so they don't make for great batteries. I'm going to try to avoid using them unless it becomes necessary. Like if there's certain crafting things that take a tremendous amount of power, then we can use capacitors to serve as the buffer for that. All right, moving on. We want to make obsidian. How do I make that? Probably an igneous extruder? Probably not an igneous extruder. What does this come from? Crushed chocolate ore, but I can't crush it in... Here, let's just read the quest. You put water... Oh. The vanilla way. Duh. How do we get lava? You can either try to fabricate lava by combining heavy water and elemental fire, or farm blaze powder for the mesh and transform it into obsidian. Alright, let's look at those 2 options. Well, both of these options kind of suck. So 9 blaze rods make a blaze mesh, makes a piece of obsidian, and blaze rods, I think for now we have to make blaze powder through this recipe. There's nothing here, right? No, I don't think we can get magma cream. Nope. So yeah, that's 9 times 5, 45 blaze powder. That's a lot of blaze powder. Or we can create a magmatic florb on the runic altar with heavy water, which is made from imbuing water with runes of earth, or runes of fire. But runes of fire don't look that bad. So I think this will be our approach. We can't make this yet, can we? No. So yeah, let's make lava this way. Runic ultras might give you your runes back, right? The default configuration has a runic ultra returning your runes of fire. If that's the case, this recipe is like orders of magnitude cheaper than that one. Let's find out. Time to craft runes of fire. I also got kind of sick of how slow our runic altar was, so I added a couple more mana spreaders to shoot more mana into it. So it's one of these, one of those, one of these, 3 of that, 1 of this. And there we go. See, it crafts faster when you shoot mana into it faster. Who'd have thought, huh? Anyways, I'm gonna make a handful of runes of fire. We need some slime balls to make florbs. A funny name, but I think it's called a fluid orb. But we need slime balls, slag, and sawdust for that. So sawdust we make in a pulverizer, that's easy. Slime balls we make by adding water to living matter. So this is a very convenient recipe. And I made a machine for this. Slime balls not stack. Why won't you make me a second one? I would like more than 1 slime ball, please. What's the matter with you? Slime ball me. Alright, are we out of... Oh, we're out of energy. Oh, that's awkward. You're not even running. Why are we out of energy? Oh, we're out of energy because we're out of fuel. Okay, well, at least we can fix that easily. There we go. Now we're not out of fuel. We should switch this to perhaps doing boilers and turbines in a bit. There we go. Back in business. Alright, so that's slime balls. And then for the slag, a couple ways to get it. I think the easiest way is to induction smelt gears with sand. Or I guess if we do an anvil, we get a higher chance. We just have to recraft the anvil each time. Let's just do gears, whatever. Gears with sand, 20% per, and then we don't, you know, it's a completely lossless process. There we go, and that gets us slag. So, that makes the florbs. Does it have to be a magmatic florb? No, it has to be a non-magmatic florb. All right. I can work with that. Where is my sawdust? I'm going to get organized. It seems no matter what I do, we're going to have to get blaze rods. The alchemical imbuer, which is required to make the heavy water, requires blaze rods. So I think the quest here mentions something about, it recommends we just make, was it like 5? If you feel brave, yeah, make 5 brewing stands at a time, because I guess there's some use for it down the line. So let's go down the blaze rod hole. Thankfully, 5 blaze rods is less than the 9 we need to make just a single piece of obsidian this way. So this is imbue sulfur with essence of knowledge. We have 9 levels. I hope that's enough. We're going to need a way to transfer our levels. Probably the what's the experience book called? In thermal, one of the thermal mods, right? We can find it. This thing. Home of knowledge. This requires emeralds. How do we get emeralds? Uh-oh. I found it. So this pack hides a lot of recipes in various strange machines. You gotta be on top of your JEI reading. Here we have a recipe where we can use our runes of fire to make pyrotheum dust. Not very efficient, but this is what we have for now. And then we can take the pyrotheum dust and separate that out to get our first bit of blaze powder, which gets us our first blaze rod. So we have enough energy in our pipe. I can't run all my machines at once, so I'm kind of toggling the ones I need at any given moment. So yeah, this will craft a couple pieces of pyrotheum dust. Very good. Now this does use up the runes of fire, so we can't, you know, do this indefinitely. But for now, this will be acceptable. Then we have to separate this and compactor this. So I guess for now we're only going to make a single blaze rod. But this will lead to easier blaze rods, don't you worry. This blaze rod gets turned into a brewing stand, gets turned into an alchemic imbuer, and then this needs to be fed runes of earth for now. So let's, it also needs water, so I'm just gonna, let's hide it in here where we can have it share water with our dynamos. I think this thing produces water fast enough, right? I hope so. Anyways, once that fills up with water, we drop in a rune, and it should, if we have enough energy, turn this, I think it says it's 4 buckets of output. Yeah, 4 buckets of heavy water. And then we can, is that the type we need it in? Yeah, we just have to bucket it from there. This is our first time crafting with runes, or runes in general on the runic altar. So we get to find out if they're going to consume the rune. It does use a fair bit of mana by the looks of things. Based on how long it's taking, it's about 4 times as much mana as crafting runes. I think this bar is also zoomed in 10x. So this is what? This is 25%, it's about 20% of the bar, so it's about 2% of a mana pool. Not unreasonable. But we did get our runes of fire back. That's very good. Here's our precious lava. Lava blocks. And then, kind of made this a little difficult for myself. I don't want to wash away my sugarcane. In fact, I should harvest my sugarcane. There we go. Harvested. Nice magnet. Alright, then comes the fun part of mining it. So the quest book does say that we can probably mine it with a mana steel pick. I'm going to try that. Do I have sticks? And if a mana steel pick can mine obsidian, oh, it's not how we make a mana steel pick. It uses living wood twigs. I knew that. Living wood is in my inventory. Alright, so if mana steel can mine obsidian, can it also mine these pillars? No. Dang it. They're kind of like in the way. I really like flat ground, and they're not flat. But whatever. Let's gather up our hard-earned obsidian. Slowly, of course. There's not a chance that... that does work. Convenient. So, obsidian unlocks one very interesting recipe, the one for emeralds here. This lets us get the Book Tome of Knowledge, which lets us make experience the easy way. Or, not experience, but you know what I mean. Make blaze powder the easy way. So this uses any hardened glass, which is what the obsidian's for, and specifically lime stained glass to make emeralds. Interesting recipe. So yeah, this is pulverized obsidian and pulverized lead, makes hardened glass. So let's pulverize some of our obsidian. Oh, you're full. Yeah. We can't break this block, right? Yeah. Alright, if we can get rid of that, at least we can increase our storage space here. Oopsies, accidentally placed a piece of this on the ground. I'm pretty sure you don't get it back if you don't have silk touch. Yeah, you don't. That's a shame. Lost half an obsidian. Oh well. I kind of forgot what I was doing now. Oh right, we're making the lime stained glass. So how many pieces do I need for this? 9. And unfortunately we only get 8 per craft. A little annoying. So lime dye from lime petals. Mush it down. It's like it when we end up having to make, make a whole extra craft just for one item. But what can you do? And then 9 of this goes into here. Alright, I'm gonna wait for this machine to finish making its slag real quick. And here comes some cheaty emeralds. What else is needed to make the Tome of Knowledge? Just 2 emerald. Oh, we need 2 lapis. How do I make lapis? Similar thing, but with blue stained glass. Alright, I like it. One more challenge. The book for the Tome of Knowledge. We don't have the other recipe that only uses wood because we don't have... I think that recipe comes from Tinker's Construct. So we need to make leather. This requires 2 more brewing stands. Not happening. Which means I think we're going to have to get it from this saw recipe. So sawing any cork item frame, it looks like it has to be a cork item frame for some reason. Can't be a vanilla one. Gives us a piece of leather. And... that just means take a vanilla item frame, dye it, your favorite color, saw it. I don't have a sawmill, do I? Right, we have to make a sawmill. The line of machines is growing quite large here. So saw this for me, please. Some of the ones I don't use very often, like the compactor, I'm still leaving at basic tier though. So that gets us the leather for a book. For a book. Or a tome of knowledge. Nice. So now I can put my EXP in there. Not a lot of experience. We might need some way to come up with a bit more experience. Is there like a crafting recipe for this by chance? No, there is not. It turns out that we need it smelting gold into, well, gold dust into gold ingots gives 1 point of experience, and then we can pulverize the gold, smelt it again as needed. As long as I'm the one taking the item out of the furnace, I get the experience. Unfortunately, redstone furnaces are not like the IC2 furnace, which very conveniently holds onto your experience for you. Even just doing iron is 0.7 experience per. Experience shouldn't be that hard to come by. Let's first see how much our 153 experience is. I mean, it looks like it fills a tank, but it does not. Sneaky. Alright, so anyways, that goes into the machine. 3060. And how much does this use? Per operation, it uses 200. So yeah, this makes like 15 pieces. It's not a lot. Alright, let's, I guess, break out the vanilla furnaces again. Do we get experience out of a redstone furnace, actually, if I'm the one that takes the item out? I'm not sure. I have pulverized gold somewhere, right? Let's test it. This is probably overloading our energy. Yeah, the number is ticking down. I do. Okay, so we can use a redstone furnace. We don't need a vanilla furnace. It's just I can't auto-export from it. I have to be the one that clicks. Now let's try to upgrade our dynamos here. So by swapping from just steam dynamos, well, we'll still use steam dynamos, but instead of just having them directly produce RF, if we switch them to boilers and turbines, I think we can dramatically increase both the, well, we can increase either the total output or the fuel. No, we increase both total output and fuel efficiency. So one thing I want to check is which side does a boiler output its steam on. Basically, if I place two next to each other like this and give this one some water, can I just click that? No, I can't. I can do that though. And a little bit of fuel. Will you output steam directly into this? No, you output steam into your, I guess you output steam from the coil. That makes sense. Unfortunately, I don't really have a fluid pipes that can transport a large amount of liquid. The wooden pipes, I don't think work with high temperature fluid. This is not suitable for high temperature fluid. So I assume that includes steam. Steam is typically a pretty high temperature fluid. And then fluid ducts are gated. So regular fluid ducts we can't use because, again, will break if hot or cold. Hardened fluid ducts, well, even regular fluid ducts require elven trade to get access to, so that's not happening. So that just really leaves this accelerating fluid pipe. I hope that because the dynamo exports, we don't need the extraction pipe. I'm pretty sure the dynamo produces way more than 0.2 buckets per second. It might produce more than 1.6 buckets per second of steam, though. That's kind of the problem that I'm a little afraid of. But let's give it a shot, see if we can make it. Oh, well, I know we can make this, but see if this pipe can transport steam at a relatively decent rate. Actually, we know it won't be enough. Here it says 200 millibuckets per tick or 4 buckets per second. I think then let's try the fluid allocator instead. This can you know, it's like a 1 block pipe basically. So if I use a couple of these, I think those can move fluids sufficiently quickly. So I configured this to take fluid in the bottom, fluid out towards the dynamo. I realized I forgot to put the turbine conversion in the dynamo at first, but I tried it again with the conversion, and still the steam dynamo only outputs through the coil. Now the reason I can't just connect the coil directly to another like one dynamo to another, it's because each turbine only uses 100 millibuckets per tick of steam, whereas this produces 200 millibuckets per tick, right? So it's 1 to 2, and this only pushes into one block. So anyways, burn, that fills with steam, this generates power. Yeah, and for each millibucket of steam, it produces 2 RF per tick. I do notice that it burns through coal charcoal incredibly fast. Does this, when I do this, tell me how much charcoal I get? How much burn time I get? Because I'm a little concerned if this doesn't, like, okay, so this produces 200 millibuckets per tick of steam. Let's count how long. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. So like 3 seconds. Let's call it 60 ticks. 60 times 200 is, oh boy, math time. 60 times 200 is 12,000, and then we get 2 RF per 2 RF per millibucket of steam. So 24,000. We only get 24,000 RF out of a piece of coal doing it this way. That's technically more than what we get if we just burn it, right? If we were to just burn it, we get 16,000. I kind of thought that the turbine was a lot more efficient. Well, let's try it out anyways. This fluid allocator setup seems to work. So we'll convert all of our turbines over to all of our steam dynamos over to either boilers or turbines, and just see if we can get it to work and see if it produces, I mean, at the very least, I think it will produce more power. A little bit cramped back in here, but I've hooked it all up such that the dynamos on the bottom are the ones that are boilers, and then they feed into the allocators, which feed into the energy producing dynamos. So I'm kind of curious, if I give you a block, do you burn for longer than, I guess, 30 seconds is the baseline? Right, because if it doesn't look like it's going to last for much longer than 30 seconds. If it burns a block of fuel per 30 seconds, I basically don't produce enough fuel to keep it powered. Now this is producing steam, which is going into both of these. They're producing power, and yeah, okay. So at least the steam is all being used, right? 200 millibuckets of steam, or 200 millibuckets per tick of steam between these two. They produce 400 RF per tick, which, to be fair, this one setup is more RF per tick than my old setup was. My old setup was 200 RF per tick total. Once this reaches full energy, it throttles, but the fact that it throttles does not keep new fuel from being spent. So I think what I actually need is some way to detect... Oh, right, and dynamos don't output their internal buffer. Well, the internal buffer is basically 0. Dynamos don't output their internal buffer if they're not running. I think what I need to do is I need to somehow detect if the fluid or the flux duct is nearly empty. And if the flux duct is nearly empty, then we can feed in, we can turn this on again, basically. Let it run, because that will charge the flux duct back up and let us continue processing. All right, so now we just need some way to measure the fullness of the flux duct. How do we do that? That is a good question. I doubt it'll work, but let's see if a redstone comparator can measure whether or not, or how much energy is in the pipe. I really doubt it. But to make the redstone comparator, we need nether quartz. This was something we're going to make pretty soon anyways. So nether quartz ore is made by jamming sacrificing blood into sandstone, and sacrificing blood is made in an alchemical imbuer with heavy water. Unfortunately, it uses 1.2 buckets. It's a very annoying amount. Is that how we make heavy water? I think you go in here to make heavy water, right? You would definitely think that makes heavy water. No, it is an alchemical imbuer. Water plus... Oh, you don't have power. Oh. Okay. Start up again. There we go. With the heavy water, we dip blue petals into it. Oh, was it not blue petals? Probably red petals, huh? Based on the fact that there's a red fluid. Oopsies. Let's try that again. Let me up. Dip red petals into the heavy water, and then we get some sandstone. Is there sand in here? No, there isn't. And then we can imbue that. That sacrificing blood has a couple other uses too. We can make nether wart, nether rack. I think soul sand is here. Nether brick is here. In fact, nether brick I think has one. Oh wait, no, we don't need nether brick to make. How do we make a magma crucible? Yeah, that does use nether brick. Weird. Why does that show? Oh, it's a on the later page. Duh. But yeah, we can make the magma crucible, which represents a much easier way to make lava. It takes quite a lot of energy and quite a long time, but it's still easier than making lava the you know, through the infusing way. And there might be easier ways in here. Let's look at all these recipes. It's a lot easier from magma blocks, but that doesn't really help us. We don't have an easy way of getting magma. I think it's also easier from netherrack. If we get a conjuration catalyst, all this requires is access to the Botania trades. So maybe soon, well, soon-ish, when we get this, that makes a relatively easy way to cheaply get lava. But for now, our only way to get lava is melt cobble, pay the full 300. Well, the cheap way to, the easy way to get lava is to pay the full 300,000 RF for it. Now I'm going to process our nether quartz in the induction smelter because it has a 50%, well, it gives us 4 quartz, which is better than I can do breaking it. But it also had a 50% chance to get rich slag, which we failed on the roll, but that's all right. Anyways, now let's try making the some smooth stone, the comparator. And we can be disappointed that it doesn't work because there's almost no way we can read the energy amount of a flux duct with the comparator. 99% sure of it, especially if you don't put it in the right place. But that, it doesn't work. Who'd have thought? Went back and actually timed the fuel consumption rate. It turns out it's closer to 45 seconds per block of charcoal, and that's 1 piece of charcoal per 45 divided by 9, 5 seconds. I think our wood producer is significantly faster than that, right? We actually get a piece of wood every 3 seconds. So we actually produce plenty of charcoal to run 1, technically even 2 of these boilers. So I think we're actually just going to leave it running all the time. Yeah, we waste most of the energy. Like, we're producing 400 RF a tick, and even if I'm running every machine, we don't consume all 400, but that means there's room to grow into it. So it's not necessarily a problem. Well, so with that problem finally ignored, let's move on. I did, in the process there, we made our nether quartz. Let's really quick, because I have some leftover nether quartz, or not nether quartz, but this blood stuff, sacrificing blood. We can also make the nether wart, right? Let's see. Yeah, let's also make nether wart in here, as well as some soul sand to grow it on. Ooh, doesn't look that bad to me. The beginnings of a farm. The next major task then is to start making terra steel. It calls for a whole block. The terra steel recipe has been made a lot cheaper in terms of mana. Normally it's half a mana pool. This mana pool is not zoomed in, so it's been changed to maybe about 5% of a mana pool, but it takes a whole bunch of other things. This is a standard recipe, and later when we have mana infused ingots, yeah, so we can infuse terra steel this way, and then once we have, let's see, wait, oh, so we need a different multi-block under our agglomeration plate to make mana infused ingots. Interesting. But this that changes just the 1 ingot and gets us 3 terra steel per craft. But I think this will have to wait for tomorrow because we are out of time for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.